What's going on, guys? Back again with another video. My name's Alex. How are we all doing? I appreciate all your feedback in the last video. We got ourselves to 100 subscribers, which is brilliant. I appreciate all your support. In this video, I'm going to explain the ins and outs of modifying my car, and just basically the general cost of what it takes that built my car through the stages. Now, there are a few things that I'm not going to go over. One being insurance, because I don't really want to add that to the cost because it would just complicate things. That's just a must, it's not a need like the modifications I put on the car. The other one is repairs. Obviously, I'm not going to list every repair I've done, otherwise it's just pointless. I don't see any point adding the repair costs in the video, but that's just me. I could go on and on all day. And the other one is maintenance, so like tyres, fuel, oil. I don't really want to add that to that because it's more towards the idea of how much the build cost rather than going over maintenance, which I can do it again in another video in the future. But for now, I'm obviously just going to go over what it takes to modify to the car, the stage I'm in now. Starting off, I bought the car back in 30th of May 2020. I went all the way to Swansea. I live in Cornwall, so I drove up there. I bought the car for £7,250, which is good at the time because I think it was only on 62,000 miles when I bought it, roughly. The only mods that they had on the car when I bought it was a front splitter, tinted windows, and different rear brake lights. Straight away, the first thing I did a wiper delete. At the time, I only bought a little plug that just fits in quite easy. You just take the rear section off and then you pop it in with some tape. Later on, I did end up buying a rear wiper delete kit, so you get the badge delete as well as the wiper delete. That set me back about £100, and it took about £80 worth to spray that. Bought myself an induction kit. This induction kit was a forged induction kit. It was a stage 1 or 2, I'm not really too sure when I bought it. It produces some good noise, you get some induction noise, and then you get some spoil up sound as well when you're driving, which, if that's the noise you're looking for, then that's what you get. It's £150 I bought that one for, which was a pretty good price for an induction kit. And then I went over to that tint guy, Steve. He does a really great job. I got my front lights tinted, my rear deflectors, and my third brake light. That was £80 for all of them, and I wrapped that in mid-smoke. And then I bought myself a set of 4D tinted plates. Now, I wouldn't recommend buying them because they are illegal. At the time when I bought them, I didn't know if they were or not. It was a bit of a grey area. But at the end of the day, you could get fined, get points on your license, and it's really not worth it for what they are. You obviously buy a set of tinted 4D plates and use them as show plates, and it does the same when you're taking photos. I obviously wanted to upgrade the stock exhaust, so I went with a Miltech non-res sports mode exhaust, or race mode, whichever you want to call it. It deletes the rear section of the resonator in between, and is a stainless steel exhaust system, and it has a 2.75 bore. Obviously, if you wanted to go for something more aggressive, I'd go with Cobra or Scorpion. Outlaw doing a good exhaust as well, but it is incredibly loud. So if you wanted to be the ones hated in your neighbourhood, they would be the ones. But if you wanted to go for something more quieter, I would go with the Miltech. It's great for performance. If you were going stage 3 or stage 2, whichever upgrades performance-wise, I'd recommend that. Bought it brand new. I can't remember where I bought it from now, but all in it cost me £680 posted. Next, I did an upgrade, so I upgraded my front discs and pads. I bought EBC discs, which cost me about £150. And then I did a Black Friday sale and got all the pads front and back, and I got some Brembo pads which cost me £60, and then I got some cheap eBay ones called M-Tech, I think they cost me about £40 for some rear discs, but I was more concerned about the front ones because obviously that's the stopping power at the front. Build and grooved, they dissipate heat really well, and they're a good bit of kit. Next, I bought a gear knob for my car. I didn't really like the stock one that I had in there, so I went with a company called Likewise. It's an American brand. I bought the Daytona in black. It cost me £85, that's including the adapter and the postage, which, coming from America to England, not a bad price to be paying. I bought some OZ Super Allegro wheels, which I mentioned in my last video. You'll think I'm crazy for paying this, but I paid £1,100. Now bear with me, I got a set of Michelin Pilot Sport 3s, which had about 4mm, about 5mm of tread on it, which, if you're thinking about how much they were back then when I bought them in, I bought them in 2021, it was good value for money. And then I swapped over my stock wheels and and gave them to him so he could sell the car. So that was £200 knocked off the bill. So it only cost me £900, which with wheels and tyres is a pretty good price. I went and got myself a sports cat. I didn't buy one brand new, but my mate, he got one taken off of his car from the dealership because they thought there was an issue with the sports cat. So he had a spare one, so I managed to get it for 60 quid, which realistically, in today's prices of paying for a sports cat is a good price. So I pretty much snatched it out of his hands when he said £60. I then bought myself an R Sports intercooler. You can go for bigger ones, but the R Sports one is up to 250 brake horsepower on the STs. And for the amount that I paid for it, I paid £250. I think it was 200 quid actually. Once I had all the components I needed, obviously I went to RCS in Barnstables where the boys sorted me out with a stage 2 map and a rolling road. It was £250 for the remap, and then the rolling road was £50, so all in was £300. That got me to 235 brake with the induction kit I had at the time. Then I decided to upgrade to the Revo Stage 3 induction kit, which I spoke about in the last video as well. Good bit of kit. It comes with the whole pipe to the turbo, which you wouldn't get from smaller induction kits you buy cheaper. This one set me back 360 quid. At the time I thought it was crazy to be paying that type of money, but when looking back on it now, they're going up for about £440. So now I wanted to change up the rear brake lights because they were okay for what they were, but obviously I wanted to get something better, so I bought some L-shaped ones off of eBay. If you want to ask in the comments, I'll show you the link below. These ones cost me £260. I'd advise getting it if you want to have something cheap and cool for a mod that changes the look of the car. I'd advise getting that. Right, here's my attempt at a little DIY session. So I've seen it on before where obviously you can get custom lights. I wanted just to have the look of the black insides. They call it a Joey mod. I attempted to split it myself. I spent £80 on paint and lacquer. Did it all by myself, which I'll show you the videos now. They didn't actually look too bad. At the time I took the tints off, so I went with that instead. Right, now we're talking about the bigger ones that change the look of the car completely. So I bought this RS bumper. Now this bumper, all included with postage, cost me £328. Not too bad. Quite expensive for some, not expensive for others. Get the actual bumper fitted. Now you can go ahead and fit it yourself. There's nothing stopping you. It's just a few bolts either side and then on the front. I would highly recommend, I got mine done in a body shop. They had to raise my bonnet and they had to fit it, and it's only fiberglass, so it's a bit of a weak material. It's not like the plastic bumpers. So I wanted it to look as good as possible, so obviously I paid £650, which some people wouldn't want to pay, but obviously I didn't want to try and attempt it myself, paying that money for the bumper brand new. I left it with the boys and they sorted it for me, so that was one tone of paint and they fitted it, no problems. The actual bumper itself doesn't come with a grille, so I bought 2 of these on Amazon, reasonably cheap. You can obviously go with mesh if you wanted to go mesh, but it's entirely up to you. It's your build, your choice, but obviously I went with something that's not going to rust and it's easy to fit. Right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the wrap. Now I went with tech wrap. I heard some good stuff about it. Good quality. I don't actually know how well it will last in the long run. Obviously I haven't had it on the car long enough. I've had it a little under a year now. The actual vinyl itself cost me £238 plus shipping. I did always contemplate whether I wanted to do it myself and wrap it, but no, I found a way to fuck it up. So I paid my friend Steve, that tint guy down here where I live in Cornwall, and one of my other mates called Liam. They managed to get the car wrapped in 3 days, and I'll show you some photos here. They did a great job. Very impressed with the way it turned out. I had to do a lot of bodywork stuff before I could do it. Obviously when you see people like Yanamais wrapping the car and stuff like that, they're doing like brand new cars. So it's worth, if you were thinking about wrapping your car, to obviously go and have the car inspected before you buy any materials. Also, when buying materials yourself and then asking someone to wrap it, don't forget that they can't offer any warranty if it does go wrong. So once it has been wrapped, that's it. You you can't get your money back if it goes wrong. Obviously, if they've done a shit job wrapping it, that's on theirs. But if it is the material you buy, can't guarantee that it's going to be any good. Hence why most vinyl wrappers say no. Also forgot to mention he wrapped my headlights as well at the time. That cost me £70, so add that to the bill. Obviously, it looked a bit bland at the time. Once I had the grille, I asked them to fit it, and I also bought some side skirts and a front splitter. Pardon me. And I bought a rear diffuser, which was from Extreme Silence. I bought it second hand, and I bought a rear spat kit with an aero kit as well. So I'll go over first. The side skirts and the front splitter cost me £327 plus postage. The rear diffuser second hand I bought for £120, and then the aero and spat kit cost me £75. And then I had to get them to fit it, which I'm not sure how much it cost me. I think it was 200 quid, but I'm not going to add that to the bill anyway because I've had all this fitting costs already. I bought the exhaust for 450 quid, and I swapped over my rear diffuser. That was the stock one that I had on the car. He gave me the rear diffuser, which I already had, which knocked that off, so I didn't have to pay the extra £100 without the rear diffuser, and it had the spats and the aero kit with it. I did end up selling them after I sold the rear spats and the aero for £50, and then I ended up selling the rear diffuser for £80. So I've taken that price off, so that's off the 450 quid. So I paid 450 quid for the custom exhaust. If you was to buy it brand new, you'd probably be looking at £1,100 from a local welder, a company, depending what type of metal, type of size. I can't really tell you, but I got quoted 1,100 quid for my car specifically, so I snatched it up as soon as I did. Like I said on the last video, if you haven't already seen it, go have a little watch. I did an overview of my car, so feel free to go have a look. For most of you on here, only a few of you have subscribed. Obviously you've seen the last video, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe, like, leave a comment. I appreciate all your feedback. Obviously I want to keep the channel going, I want to keep it growing, and I appreciate all your support. Next up, I bought these headlights off at the same time when I buy my exhaust. Now, I bought them for 250 quid, which seems really cheap for what it is, but there is a little bit of a tinkering that I need to do with it, hence why I got it so cheap. But they work fine, the actual projectors work, the indicators work, but there is a little bit of modifying I have to do with it to make it perfect. But for the price that I paid for it, I was quite happy. Bought this Delta styling spoiler off the Fiesta's page. Now this one sent me back £300. I had no problems fitting it. I did put a bit of mounting tape, and it does have bolts and screws that go into it, but once installed it does fit brilliant. The only thing that I would recommend looking at is if you're not buying it brand new, make sure that you can get the screws out, because they're not riv nutted in there, they just glue the nut on the other side of it. With it being fiberglass, it's a bit of a nightmare to get out, which I had problems with, but just have a look before buying it, ask the questions, make sure you know what you're getting. I bought some stance plus coilovers. If you were going on a track, I would recommend going for something like BCs. Obviously they are a lot better for value for money, but obviously more expensive. But if you're looking for something that's just lower than springs, I would advise going with the stance. That's all the mods that I've put on my car. You're gonna be shocked. Leave your comment below now how much you reckon I've spent on my car in total. So adding it all up together, the car itself cost me £14,000, £658. That's including the car. Without the car, that was £7,408. Now I know after I upload this video and my mum sees it, she's gonna whoop my ass, and my girlfriend, but I enjoy it. Cars are a very expensive hobby. I've made mine look different to everyone else's. I've made it to the way that I want it, and that's really what matters most. Obviously, some people like it, some people don't, but at the end of the day, you're building a car for yourself, so that's the only way I can explain it. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any ideas for any videos in the future, please leave it down below. I'll obviously read all your comments, and I appreciate all the good feedback. That subscribe, obviously I want to keep the channel going and making sure people enjoy the content that I'm producing. And yeah, obviously I'll see you in the next video. Any ideas, let me know. Peace.